Hey Mini enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back. It's part 8 of the classic Mini workshop radius arm build, and tonight, like kit, it's time for paint. So all the seam sealing's done, it's all cleaned off underneath, it's just ready for a coat of primer. And what we're going to use this paint from Paints for You, which is pre-mixed for you, so you just go off the paint code. I've used it before on PL in some of my earlier videos, but if you missed that, I'll just talk through it quickly. So Paints for You sell on eBay, and they sell these as kits. They sell paints individually, but they sell kind of a car kit for doing a bit of restoration work or something like that. And I've found the colour match is really good. The paints themselves are really good. Last time I used them, I didn't get any reactions or anything like that. They give you pretty much everything you need, and they all work really well together. So we're going to be using a 3-stage process. So obviously I've already, anywhere there was bare metal on the car has been etch primed. Then it's been seam sealed. Then we're going to go over it with grey primer. So that's the first stage. The good thing about this is that's 15 to 20 minutes between coats. And then you must apply the base colour within 2 hours. There's no mucking about, no leaving it 24 hours, anything like that. The base colour goes on, that's 15 to 20 minutes between coats. And then finally the lacquer goes on, and that must be done within 2 hours of the base coat going on. I think it's 2 hours, just make sure you double check. They have instructions on their website, and if you follow the instructions, it will be absolutely fine. So the good news is you can apply the whole lot in one, you know, depending on how much you're doing. This will all be done in one evening. The only bit I've had to wait for is a seam sealer. That's had 24 hours since it went on. So let's get on with it. Let's crack on. So I'm not going to record the actual spraying bit because that's pretty boring. I do just need to do some more masking up. So I've got the fuel pump and everything like that just wrapped in a towel. I've dropped the fuel pipes down and covered them up, so hopefully I can get up behind them. Don't want to be painting this shock absorber. And you'll see, as you see, I've got 2 halogen heat lamps on here. These work pretty well because A, they provide heat and they provide a lot of light as well. So I just leave them on while I'm spraying. They're relatively cheap. And just for Mark Piper, I have unwound the extension cord because that's like 1 kilowatt. That's 1 kilowatt. Yeah, that does get the extension lead a little bit warm. The only problem is that's like a 30-meter extension, so it's kind of laid out the whole way around the garage. So probably won't trip the plug, but I'll probably trip over that and break my neck. One or the other. Some you win, some you lose. Right, so you know me, I like to live life dangerously, so minimal masking. It's underneath the car, isn't it? So I very much doubt I'm going to get some overspray, but what I don't want to do, I've covered up all the fuel pump and the fuel lines. I just need to find something to cover up the brake lines. Now, bag of rags. Now, whenever you don't want a sleeve, you always pull one out of the bag of rags and you end up cutting it in half so you get a bit of rag to clean up with. But these things always amaze me because I'm always interested in what old rags and that we've got in there. They've always got some stuff written on them. That's something, the lettuce, slug and lettuce maybe. Shake back. What the? I suppose these must all be just left over. That's what I want a sleeve, but I want a longer one. Shades of Doncaster Limited. Here's a plug for you guys. I've got your old t-shirts. Puma t-shirt. Oh, I thought it was a pair of knickers then. Frilly top. So you get little cut off. I mean, that's pointless, isn't it? What's the point in that rag? Don't know what that is. Flipping hell. Well, here we go. Bingo. That's what we want. A sleeve. Because you can put it nicely over the brake pipes or the brake tubing. perfect. Right, so as with all spray paints, first coat on is just going to be a light dusting, just to get some adhesion. That don't work. Huh. Great. Try a new nozzle. Right, this might be where I have to leave you guys because I'm going to have to move things around. Right guys, sorry, speaking through the mask, but that's a couple of coats of primer on. Not going mad with a primer because we didn't actually rub away much paint from underneath. It's more just to give the base coat something to adhere to. Right guys, we gave that half an hour. And just going to put, so we're on the base colour now, just going to do again a very fine coat to begin with. This is actually a 3/4 empty can which I'm just going to empty off to begin with. Didn't take long to empty that. Again boys, sorry to disappoint, but I'm going to cut you off here and carry on with the rest of it. Right guys, so that is first coat of base coat on. As you can see, it's pretty thin. That's fine though. Won't actually go too mad with the paint underneath, I just want it slightly thicker than the paint was originally. And obviously down the sides here, up inside the arch, will be a bit thicker and we'll lacquer it as well. So this is just 15-20 minutes between coats. So I'm going to go grab a coffee and I'll be back in a minute. Right then, so we're just about ready for the second coat of base coat. I've used 3/4 of a can, so be over 2 cans I would think. What we do need to do is spray in an opposite direction this time, because seam sealer leaves a really bumpy uneven surface. If I need to come from that way, so it coats both sides of it, so it makes it a little bit more tricky than spraying a flat panel anyway. That is 3 coats of base on, all over every nook and cranny, right up into the back there as well. And I've just got a lacquer now, so I was in a bit of a dilemma. So the sides of the sill will be lacquered, little bit on the inside of the wheel arches both sides, but that's about it. The rest of it's not normally lacquered. But to be fair, the boot floor has never usually got that much paint on it from factory, just because they're tight with the paint. So it's usually got a very light dusting of paint and not much more. So the question is, do I lacquer the whole lot, or just do I lacquer the areas that were originally done? After a bit of thought, I think I'm going to lacquer the whole lot. Be difficult to get a perfect lacquer finish underneath here, just because you need to lay it on really sort of wet after the first coat. So first sort of coat goes on as a sort of tack coat to make it all tacky. You don't let that fully cure, and then you go on with quite a thick coat. So that can be quite tricky to do, and of course laying on with back underneath, I think it'd be difficult to get a perfect finish underneath. But my logic is, yeah, it may not be a factory looking finish because it'd be way too shiny, but it will protect it, and it'd be easy to clean as well because I'll just be able to wipe it clean. Right, so that's the finished article. So that seal's blended in with the rest of the paintwork. The pattern of the stone chip under seal is not quite the same. I don't think that's going to notice. And as discussed, it's all been lacquered, so it's looking very, very shiny. Let's just have a look at the other side. So there's underneath, looking from the back of the car, battery tray. I'm sure the MOT tester is going to be very impressed. He's the only guy that's going to see it. I suppose if I do a show and shine or something like that, they might look underneath. But yeah, quite pleased with that.